Have you noticed your body slowing down as you've reached your retirement years? Do you have less energy than you used to and find it's more of a grind to get through your daily activities? And does it take you longer to recover from injuries and surgery as you continue to age? For a lot of us, as we approach retirement and the years beyond, we notice our body doesn't feel quite the same as it used to. Something changes after we turn 50, and gone are the days of being able to do our normal routine or play with our grandchildren as effortlessly as we once could. And as we continue to age, we notice it also takes longer to recover from exercise and workouts, especially when we think back to how we used to feel in our 20s and 30s. If this sounds familiar, I can understand how you feel. But what if there was something that we could actually do about it? While traditional medicine often has to adhere to a pretty standardized set of treatments and protocols, what's been happening in the background is that government military programs, high-level athletic organizations, and other scientific research groups have spent the last few decades studying ways to enhance human performance and healing, which has led to some pretty incredible breakthroughs in the body's ability to recover from inflammation and injury. And perhaps even more significantly, has led to breakthroughs in how the body can stay in a healthy state that prevents a whole range of illnesses from ever occurring in the first place. As medicine has evolved, we've seen some of these breakthroughs lead to feats that were once thought to be almost superhuman. Think about how Tom Brady was still playing professional football at age 45. Sure, Brady had a meticulous diet and exercise regimen, and access to some of the world's top specialists and experts. But there are still some things that we can learn from the different ways modern science allowed him to optimize his body's health and performance. And what if some of this science and knowledge wasn't just available to elite athletes and soldiers, but could actually be used for a wide range of general wellness benefits by regular people just like us? Fortunately, a scientific researcher named David Schmidt set out to study what worked so well for these elite performers, and how some of the same concepts could be applied to help increase people's energy levels and their ability to heal, especially as they age, without using any medications or drugs. In David's early work, he was part of a group that was tasked with trying to create ways to help Navy SEAL crew members stay awake longer without using artificial stimulants. So he started looking into natural ways to increase energy in the body, and that research led to David's first energy enhancer patch, which has served as the foundation for the next 20 years of his research and clinical trials. And as you're about to find out, that's led him to make some incredible scientific breakthroughs that are helping thousands of people over the age of 50 have more energy, heal faster, and just feel all around younger. So especially if you're at or nearing retirement age, have had surgery, don't have the same amount of energy that you used to, or you just want your body to start feeling healthy again, you're about to discover how so many others are already experiencing a dramatic change in how their body feels on a daily basis. So would you feel better if you looked and felt younger, had more energy, were able to build muscle and reduce body fat, or could finally just get a good night's sleep? If you answered yes to any of these questions, then here's why you'll definitely want to keep watching. Unfortunately, the older we get, the faster we age and the slower we heal, largely because as we age, the amount of stem cell activity in our body begins to decrease. By the age of 60, only a small percentage of our stem cells remain, and by age 70, there are usually few or no stem cells remaining. And that's when we really start to feel the effects of aging, with lower energy, slower healing times, increased inflammation, and poor skin quality being some of the most common problems. But fortunately, that's exactly what David's X39 patch was designed to help with. A simple way to understand how the X39 patch works is to think about how our bodies respond to sunlight. You've probably heard about the benefits of having daily sunlight exposure to your skin, as on a sunny day, the body can generate over 10,000 IUs of vitamin D from ultraviolet light exposure. One example of how the body can use a specific wavelength of light to activate a natural healing process. And similar to the way sunlight can generate vitamin D, there are other wavelengths of light that can affect other regenerative functions. This is known as photobiomodulation, a science that's been used in various forms for over 100 years, and the process that the X39 patch uses to stimulate stem cell activity to optimize your body's ability to heal and recover. The patch captures heat produced by the body and reflects back an infrared spectrum of light that stimulates specific points on the skin that support healthy activity and improvements in energy, strength, and stamina, similar to how the body responds to red light therapy or a great acupuncture session. The patch contains a patented mix of organic nanocrystals, amino acids, water, stabilized oxygen, and salts that form a crystal lattice structure that reflects the specific wavelength of light that activates the copper peptide GHKCU, one of the emergency response molecules that's naturally released in the body when there's an injury, and initiates the beginning of the natural healing process. And one of the other benefits of elevated GHKCU levels is the activation of stem cells, which is what makes the patch so effective at boosting energy naturally, healing wounds, and slowing down or even reversing the aging process. Here's a quick video of X39 founder David Schmidt explaining how the patch actually works.
Since we already have stem cells in our body, would there be any way that we could get those stem cells to act like younger, healthier cells, but be safe and available for everyone? And the answer is yes. So the approach that we took was with light therapy. And light therapy, of course, has been around for a very, very long time. And what's innovative about this approach is that we're using a patch, but there's nothing going into the body. So this is not like a drug patch or a smoker's patch where we're putting chemicals through the skin. Instead, what we do with this is the ingredients that are in the patch stimulate the skin with very low levels of light. You can think of this as when you go out in the sun, sunlight causes your body to make vitamin D, right? Or sunlight gives you a tan. Those are examples of how light causes chemical changes in the body. It's a process called photobiomodulation. And basically, you put a patch on the skin, it stimulates the skin with light, and this causes an increase in a peptide that activates stem cells.
The X39 stem cell activation patch stimulates your body's own stem cells in a safe and natural way that's backed by over 80 clinical studies and more than 20 years of research. It helps to counteract free radicals, which are oxygen molecules that damage cell proteins and contribute to visible signs of aging. And when the body is stimulated through phototherapy to release its own antioxidants, these free radicals are neutralized naturally. This has left thousands of X39 users stunned at how much better they feel after using the patch, a non-invasive technology that's as simple to apply as a small circular Band-Aid, making it incredibly easy to use no matter how busy life gets. And perhaps most importantly, it doesn't involve any pills, drugs, chemicals, or invasive procedures. There are no foreign substances going into your body, just a healing frequency of light. So whether you want to have more energy, heal faster, reduce recovery time after workouts, stay in great shape so you can continue to enjoy playing with your grandkids, or keep your body feeling healthy even when you have to travel, LifeWave's X39 patch can help. So what can you expect from using the X39 patch? With hundreds of thousands of customers now using the X39 patch, one of the comments we've heard most often is that they're simply stunned by how much better their body feels, often in a short period of time. Imagine you go for a walk in nature after sitting behind a computer all day. That's how many of our customers describe the difference they feel after using the patch, especially in areas of their body where they've experienced chronic aches and pains. A lot of our customers who have been using X39 for months have seen stunning reduction in the appearance of lines and wrinkles, while others have been shocked to see old scars heal, have had an easier time progressing through physical therapy, or have seen a drastic reduction of chronic pain and inflammation. There are also a growing number of doctors who first tried the X39 patch as a customer, but were so impressed with the results that now they regularly share it with their patients. Why don't we take a quick listen and hear what some medical professionals are saying about the X39 patch?
I was looking for something to help Dr. Jones. She was having some really serious health issues, and I was looking for things that were non-pharmaceutical and just any type of a therapy that would help. And I was trying everything, medically, holistically, and we're not getting any answers. And that's what I loved about the patch. It was very inexpensive, and it did dramatic results rapidly, and people want fast results. They want it inexpensively, they want it safe, and they want it to work. And so when I tried them and she had the big changes she had in like 24-hour period, I couldn't deny what was going on.
I think it's an amazing product. I have been researching photobiomodulation and more specifically GHK copper peptide, which was discovered in the early 70s by Dr. Lauren Picard in Boston at Harvard University. And so he has identified approximately 4,192 different genes that this particular molecule influences. So it's such a powerful, powerful health and wellness molecule.
Our CEO was a big researcher. He wants to have proof. I want to have proof with anything I'm touting for my patient. They have been experimenting with stem cells, way back, and seeing the miraculous benefits of it. So the stem cells are vital.
What causes us to get older and to have our cells not bouncing back as quickly is that we lose stem cells. When we're babies, we have literally 1 billion stem cells. And then as time goes on, by the time you get to be an adult, you've lost most of your stem cells. And by the time you get into your 50s or 60s, you lost about 70% of your stem cells. So that's why when you're working with an older person, some things take longer. You don't bounce back like you used to. Anytime that you put any kind of substance into a person, you run the risk of creating some kind of reaction. Also, a lot of people that come to see me have very complicated medical situations going on, and they're taking a variety of drugs. Most people are taking somewhere between 3 to 6, but I've seen people taking up to 22, 23, 24 different prescription medications. But when you take the X39, and this is something that makes everything else that you do work better.
It is working on behalf of your body to make it healthier. And I'm always impressed every time I hear what people are saying about what they're experiencing while they're wearing the X39. It's been clinically proven to improve blood pressure, to improve cardiovascular circulation. It helps with skin health. It helps with mental clarity, mental focus. The list just goes on and on and on.
When you look at how to get more stem cells in your body, there aren't a lot of options.
It's not a new therapy, but it's very, very new to the consciousness of most people, because light therapy is kind of it's new, but it's not. And there's a real tipping point happening for the masses. And so this is really designed for the masses to be able to afford it, to be able to do it themselves, which is what I love, because I wanted something where they didn't have to come see me all the time. And it helped empower them to kind of take control and responsibility of their health.
And once these stem cells have addressed what needs to be healed in the body, they're going to start to help the body return to a vital state, and we call it reversing the aging process, which in essence is what it's doing.
The results are so dramatic. You're going to see results you've never seen in any kind of therapy before, and it's healing the body. So add it as a tool that enhances the other therapies you do, and it's a perfect marriage, and you'll see results that are just truly mind-blowing. I call them mini miracles every day because I see them often, and I hear about them often.
These practitioners, healers of all kinds, just elevating people and giving people back the kind of function that we all deserve. We all deserve to be 100%.
We sure do. And that's why there are also pro, amateur, and Olympic athletes around the world in almost every sport who are now using LifeWave patches to enhance their performance. Which means it's finally possible for you to take advantage of the same medical scientific technology that these elite athletes are using to keep their bodies in incredible shape. So I think you're starting to get the idea of just how much of a difference the X39 patch is making in so many other people's lives. So imagine getting the benefits of more energy on a daily basis, a dramatic improvement in your quality and length of sleep, support in maintaining a healthy weight through diet and exercise, relief from pain, often in just minutes, an increased ability to relax and manage stress, a decrease in the appearance of scars and wrinkles, and much, much more. In recent years, many people have turned to stem cell injections to try to get those types of health improvements. Although stem cell treatments can often cost tens of thousands of dollars, are not currently available in many countries, and sometimes the treatments are ineffective or even downright harmful. Of course, when the body is in a less than ideal overall state of health, the cost of medical treatment, surgery, and medication can also be extraordinarily expensive, while additionally introducing the risk of potentially toxic side effects. But if you want to join the countless others who continue to use the all-natural X39 patch because they simply love the way their body feels now, you can start today with a 1-month supply for only $149.95. Of course, I can understand if you're still not sure, and you're wondering if a simple patch could actually make such a big difference for you. But that's why we created a way for you to experience the benefits of the X39 patch for yourself without having to take on any of the risk. Because perhaps best of all, LifeWave's X39 comes with a 100% money-back guarantee if you're not thrilled with the results for any reason. We really wanted to make it possible for you to have the ability to see what this incredible life-changing technology can do, because we're that confident that you'll love the X39 patch as much as the hundreds of thousands of other users who are already enjoying the benefits of improved energy, strength, and stamina. Now, I know you may have already tried dozens of other treatments and therapies but found little or no success. But keep in mind that many of our customers had a similar experience before finding the X39 patch, and then were stunned by how much better they felt after using it. We want you to be able to have that same type of experience, which is why we're happy to offer our full money-back guarantee, as we simply don't want you to have to pay for anything that doesn't exceed your expectations. Every second your body spends feeling sluggish or in pain is another moment taking away from you living the kind of life in retirement you've worked so hard to achieve. Fortunately, the sooner you do something about it, the sooner you can begin to enjoy just how good your body was naturally meant to feel, which is exactly what the X39 patch has already been helping so many others to experience. And we want you to have that same kind of success. So regardless of whether you buy the X39 patch, the fact that you're taking the time to watch this video shows that you care about your body's health, especially as you age. So hopefully you found this video interesting, and it showed you some of the different ways modern science is helping people to enjoy a healthier and more vibrant retirement. And if you're looking for a safe and effective method to help your body feel as good as it can, that thousands of other people already use and swear by, and that comes with a full money-back guarantee, I think you'll be glad you tried the X39 patch. It's a one-of-a-kind, clinically proven stem cell activation technology whose sales have grown 15 times in the last 4 years alone, simply because it works, and our customers continue to love using it. LifeWave's patches are registered with the FDA as a wellness product and are approved by the World Anti-Doping Agency, as there are no chemicals or substances entering your body. And because it's a patented technology, there's really not anything else like it on the market. And fortunately, to make it even easier to start feeling the benefits immediately, right now when you sign up for a monthly subscription, you can start getting the X39 patch for 33% off at just $99.95 per month. So to get started with what could be one of the simplest, yet most effective changes you can make to improve the physical quality of the rest of your life, click on the button below now.
This is the best that I've felt, honestly, in the last 2.5 years.
6 days in, no back pain whatsoever.
I've been trying the X39 patch for about a month now, and all the crackles and pops in my wrists and all my joints are gone.
The very first time I put patches on my back, I was nearly immediately relieved of low middle back pain.
Now I can go up the stairs without being out of breath, and that's pretty great.
X39 has really changed my life. I'm not stuck at home in pain in bed. I'm out here with my friends and enjoying my family.
I sleep better. I have so much more energy.
Throughout the day, I can focus better. I can concentrate in my work.
Our church worship service lasts 45 minutes. For the last 2 years, I've not been able to stand that long. 2.5 weeks into wearing the X39 patch, the pastor said, "You can now be seated." It dawned on me at that moment that, my goodness, I've been standing this whole time, didn't realize it.
They just help me to feel younger and younger year after year.
My skin becomes younger, softer.
I love X39 because it really helped reduce the inflammation in my knee. I can now run again.
I've had lots of shoulder pain, neck pain, pain like if I were to lift my arm here, and as you can see, I can lift it without any pain. Patching has been great for me.
I've noticed after a couple weeks on X39, I was waking up not stuffy in the morning. I'm like, what?
What I like about X39 is my husband and I are both in our 60s, and we're farmers and ranchers, and we've got grandkids, and we both are feeling the increased energy level and reduction in pain. So we're much more mobile and having a lot more fun. Thank you, X39.
I have energy through the roof.
It's really exciting to see the kind of life-changing results that so many X39 users are experiencing. But for those of you who would like to know more about the science and the details, here's founder David Schmidt again.
Now, what type of benefits do people see with X39? Well, here's a clinical study that we did with 50 people, and we took people over the age of 60 because they had very little stem cell activity. And what we found within the first 24 hours to 7 days is that there were statistically significant improvements in health. So let's take a look at this because it's exciting. We saw that over the period of the first week, we got an increase in the synthesis of amino acids. So what does that mean? Well, as an example, one of the amino acids that increased was leucine. Leucine is important because it's involved in muscle protein synthesis. So if you're someone that likes to exercise or you just want to recover faster, you need to metabolize leucine. So we saw that when people used X39, their metabolism of leucine improved about 30 to 40%. So that's improved speed of recovery after exercise. Now, something that just about everyone is concerned about is what is their memory going to be like as they age? And the good news here is that just within the first week of using X39, people's memory improved. Just imagine that, just 7 days. You're 7 days away from a better memory. We don't make any claims about this, but we did see a reduction in blood pressure when people had high blood pressure when they're using X39. We saw that there was improvement in the chambers of the heart, the ratio of muscle contractions. That's called heart rate variability. We saw that sleep improved within the first 24 hours. And we saw that vitality and even depth of breathing improves when using X39. Now, we were talking about memory, and we did an initial study with 12 people, and later on we followed it up with a larger study of 50 people. And we wanted to do a brain mapping using EEG. Now, you'll notice that in these scans, there's a woman 77 years old, and session 1 is the baseline. So let's see what she's like before using X39. Session 2 is after 3 weeks, and session 3 is after 6 weeks. So we see that in as little as 3 weeks of using X39, even for people over the age of 70, there is still a dramatic improvement in brain cognition. So memory, focus, speed of processing. Some people, it takes a little bit longer. We still see an improvement in this 67-year-old man after 3 weeks, but the big change comes after 6 weeks. So this would be to say that during the first week or two, you don't notice anything. You could be one of those people that just needs a little bit more time to respond. So stay with it. Now, what happens out in real life? Well, when you use X39, one of the things that stem cells do really well is make collagen. Collagen is the most abundant protein in the body. So it's going to support wound healing, the natural process of wound healing. And here you can see we came out with X39 in July of 2018. We were in pre-launch back then. And this is a person that had open heart surgery. And you can see that a year after the surgery, they still had a scar, as you would expect. But even after just a month of using X39, there's a dramatic reduction in the appearance of that scar. This is someone that had a surgery, they applied X39, and in only 2 weeks, a dramatic reduction in the appearance of the scar. Here was a young man that was in a snowboarding accident, and you can see after 5 days, he had a dramatic improvement. This was a fellow that was in a car accident, and he was lucky to regain function of his hand. And you can see after 2 months, barely the sign of a scar. And we have many, many examples of supportive wound healing. But what happens to people that are using X39 and they're already in great health? Well, what's exciting about this is that we see a phenomena called youth renewal, meaning the stem cells are helping the body to make collagen, and this helps to support a tightening and firming of the skin. So this is a young lady named Mandy down in Australia, and that picture on the right there is not her daughter, but it's her after 2 years of using X39. Now, this would be a very typical example of someone that uses X39 for about 3 months. where you get an improvement in complexion, tightening of the skin. You see an improvement in the eyes because of detoxification and just an overall healthy glow. Now, this would be what happens in some people after about 6 months or so of using X39. We sometimes get these very, very dramatic transformations. But again, this is what you might see as very typical results with X39 over about 3 months. And then I saved this one for last because, again, we often get very dramatic testimonials on using X39. And this is a woman in Denmark who's dealing with some health challenges. Her daughter gave her X39 to support her health. And of course, everyone was amazed to see what happened to her only 2 months later after using the product.
People are getting great results with the X39 patch, and what you just heard from David explains a big part of the reason why. Again, you can click on the button below to get started using the X39 patch now. Although, just to help you feel even more comfortable with your decision, I'm going to play a few minutes of a conversation between Anne Moreau, registered nurse and certified functional nutritionist, and neurologist Dr. Thomas Auckland, MD. So you can hear firsthand the incredible difference the X39 patch is making with their patients.
And I just want to talk with Dr. Tom tonight about, what got us interested in getting involved with this technology. And one of the things that was said, changing the trajectory of aging, right? That truly interested me. But more than that, I've been a nurse for 45 years, and I wanted to do something that was innovative. And when Connie Lucas approached me, I was like, okay, but I want to see the science. Let me see the science. And so she said, there's plenty for you to look at. So I started digging into the science documents, and I finally got started on the X39. But I also wanted to talk to Dr. Tom about it, right? And so I sent him the science documents. And so he got science documents. He got videos that David Schmidt had created so that he could see what David was talking about and begin to understand the technology. And Tom, what happened? We sent you samples. And what happened when you got those samples?
Well, Gregory used a great word, flabbergasted. I was already in great shape. I really was. I had learned how to stop taking bad care of myself about 20 years ago. And so over the years, I've gotten better and better and younger and stronger. And I had a very strong yoga practice. When I received that blessed shipment of X39, I really didn't expect to see very much, really. I was doing nice things for myself. And almost immediately, I was stronger in my yoga work, my other athletic work. Did a lot of mountain climbing. I was having fun out there on my climbs. And Gregory mentioned dreams, and my sleep life improved dramatically as well. I was remembering my dreams in a very interesting and connected way that hadn't happened in years.
You and Dr. Henrietta got together, not too long after you got started, and you went ahead and there was some kind of event. I don't know if it was a neurology event, but you had a booth there, the two of you, and you had an experience there that you shared with me. I'd love for you to share that tonight I think it was a friend of yours that you connected with that you hadn't seen in a while, correct?
I had been working this wellness expo for many years, about 10 years. And so I knew some of the vendors there. And one of my good friends there, he and his wife traveled the country with their crystals and their healing. She came over as we were setting up the booth the first morning and told me of his unfortunate condition. Everybody knows the condition that happens where half of your body doesn't work anymore because your blood stopped going to the right place in the brain. Well, I got over and I talked to him and I saw him and I gave him a hug and learned what his path was, told him a bit about these technologies. I was pretty new. And I said, I have something that I think could help, and it'll help get you through the day too. He was holding his walker, leaning on the one side. So I went back to my booth. I got the X39s and a couple of the other, and came on back. And again, I really didn't expect this, but I wanted to give him hope And so I told him the kinds of breakthroughs I had seen. I had looked very deeply in the science, and I had also listened very carefully to a lot of the testimonial calls, and I'd heard some pretty flabbergasting stuff. And I was amazed, to cut the long story short, that about halfway through the day, I looked down the aisle, and I still get goosebumps when I saw him coming around the corner holding his walker in front of him.
Wow.
And it
Amazing.
got better and better over the next 2 years. And he's in great shape, loving life today.
That's awesome. Well, Tom, you helped me with a similar situation with my mother. My mother had something similar happen to her and ended up having that brain injury. And she was confused. She was having trouble with her vision, and she was having trouble walking because her left side was affected. And I called you. I remember it so well, calling you and saying, Tom, this is what happened with my mom. And you said, patch her. And so I patched her. And 5 hours later, she turned, and she was sitting in the rocking chair. We were sitting on the couch. We were living with her during the house build. And she turned and looked at both my husband and I and said, it's gone. And I said, what do you mean, Mom? And she said that the vision issues were gone. She was thinking more clearly. And I said, why don't you get up and walk around? And she had no problems walking around. For those of you who don't know Dr. Tom and my history, Dr. Tom has helped me with my brother in the past as well, who was very, very ill. So I'm very grateful to this man and his experiences with his, both in medicine, but also in some of this technology and nutrition and everything else that he does. So Tom, you had something happen to you a little while ago, at the end of last year. Do you want to share that with the audience tonight?
Sure. And thank you for your kind words. And I feel the same way about you. And that's one of the blessings that I think we give this community is hundreds, thousands of different kinds of practitioners all over the world integrating these technologies. And this really is a quantum leap for medical science. And we get to continue to flabbergast the doctors as well. So yes, I flabbergasted a few last year. Unexpectedly, had a virus attack my heart, and I was put in a very precarious position. And luckily, I was at Johns Hopkins Hospital here in Maryland and got extraordinary care. The docs actually had to suspend a cardiac operation in the middle of the operation and put me on heart-lung bypass and leave my chest open for 24 hours. And they prepared my family for my not being here. Somehow they stabilized me, thank God. And they told me that I was going to be 6 weeks in recovery. I actually wheeled out 2 weeks later. And the doc, actually, the cardiothoracic surgeon, outstanding practitioner, told me he'd never seen coronary arteries in a man my age, and that if they hadn't been absolutely perfect, I wouldn't have made it. And I want to honor you, Ann. You 3 years ago brought this to me, and I think there was a divine hand guiding me and giving me 3 years of preparation for this event last year. So I will be ever eternally grateful to you. But I'd love to hear your closing thoughts and any extra wisdom that you have.
Well, you and I both come from the sickness, I like to call it the sickness industry. And I think you and I both have a goal of teaching people that there's something better that we can do here to create great health. Because I know in medicine, I didn't see people get better. We did stop symptoms, we call it symptom stopping, but we didn't really improve health. But you and I have this amazing goal. I know I have a goal of helping 1 million people learn that we can get better using alternative health, an alternative kind of health model, a model that creates great health and a model that's a wellness model. And that's totally what this technology does. And you said it really well, Tom. You've already helped thousands of people.
So that's all for our presentation today. I hope you enjoyed what you saw. and are excited about how much better you're going to start feeling. If you have any questions, just click the button below now, and we'll be happy to help in any way that we can. So thanks for watching, and congratulations on your new and healthier future.